All right, yo. So today, I'm going to talk about the fallacy of sunk costs. So when do you know when enough is enough? When do you know when it's time to move on? For many of us, we stay in things, whether in life, in personal life, or in business, because we've invested time, we've invested money, and because we've invested resources into it. And because of that, we use that as a justification to continue on with a project, with a proposition, with something that may not longer be working. So first things first, what is sunk cost? Right? What is sunk cost? Sunk cost is basically something that you've spent that is not coming back. So the best way to think about it is, it's already gone. The money is already gone. It's already down the drain. The time is already gone. You're not getting it back. So it could be in an investment. It could be a project. It could be a relationship. So what most people do, as an example, is they may be in a toxic relationship for many, many years. And just because maybe they have a few things together, they may have some assets together, so, they may have a home together, they may have children together, in fact. Because of that, they use that as justification to stay on, to stay the course, so to speak. One of the most overrated things on earth is actually staying the course. The inverse is also true, which is to say, one of the most underrated traits to have as a person is to change course. Wow, this is such a beautiful view, by the way. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Actually, I'm going to go down this way. Yeah. So one of the most underrated traits that one can have is to actually know when to change course. One of the reasons why we don't change course is because, as I said, we already felt like we've put in so much time, so much resources. We've spent so much on something that we feel like we're a failure. We feel like we are a failure. Changing course is not a failure. It doesn't mean that you failed. It means that you've recognized when it's time to move on. So the interesting thing is, most of us don't actually know when it's time to move on, when to identify that, you are making a decision because of sunk cost. One of the ways to know that you're making a decision based on the past, in other words, based on the past investments rather than the future potential, is when you start looking at how much you've spent, right? Once you start thinking, the moment you start thinking like, whoo, I've spent so much money, yikes, then that is a sign that you should probably start considering that this may be time to make a U-turn. So the question now becomes, how do you know? Right? How do you know that you should start pivoting? Like you should start, that maybe you should stop digging. How do you know? One is declining enthusiasm, right? Once you start feeling like, you're no longer enthusiastic about this thing that you're doing, about this project, then that is a sign. Now, there is a difference between not being enthusiastic about something and just being tired, right? It could be that, because you may need a break. As an example, what was that? You may need a break, and that may masquerade itself as lack of enthusiasm. Say if you're burned out or something like that. That may be one thing. Another clue is when you're finding out that this project that you're doing is now taking a huge mental and financial toll on you and maybe your family and people around you. That is another clue to let you know that maybe you need to consider a pivot. Once it starts becoming clear, try and be objective about this. Make an objective assessment, an objective analysis, and try and figure out, is there a realistic expectation for some sort of future benefit from this project? If the answer to that is no, or is highly unlikely, then you should definitely start making preparations for how to cut your losses. There are so many examples out there that we have, projects, governments, individuals making decisions. I'm sure we all know people that have stayed in a relationship. Maybe you that you're watching this, you are also that person. You've stayed in a relationship longer than you should have, or you've stuck to a business project, a business plan longer than you should have because you spend time, you spend money. Maybe you quit your job to start a business and it's not working out. Knowing when to stop is one of the most important decisions that you can make for your well-being. So one of the other questions that you have to ask is, so what are the benefits of actually letting go? Because again, letting go of something is extremely difficult. But trust me, one of the best things you can make, one of the best decisions that you can make is actually saying, you know what? It's over. I'm leaving this thing behind me. And once you have made that decision, for most people, they become free. The weight is off your back. The stress reduces, your stress levels. It's amazing what this can do for you mentally and even physically. What it can do for your enthusiasm, what it can do for people around you. Once you've decided that this is no longer working for you and you're gonna stop digging, you will be surprised at the wonders that you will have. But anyway, that's all I got. Until next video, bye.